Yes, folks, it's that time of year again. Football season is upon us, where you can sit back and watch your team. Or, if you're a Browns fan, you can sit and cry through the whole season. Seriously though, Browns fans, I feel for you. So I'm going to go through everything that fans can expect from the 2017 NFL season. I will be making another video delving deep into each and every team during the final days before the season starts, but I wanted to get this video out as an overview of 5 things to expect from the 2017 NFL season. Number 1, the rise of young teams. I think that as with any NFL season, there will be several young teams that will be on the rise for the 2017 season. I think it would be appropriate to start out west with the Derek Carr-led Oakland Raiders. The Raiders already had a 12-4 season last year, and with all of their core pieces back, I see no reason why they can't replicate that success this year. They also added Marshawn Lynch, which it will be interesting to see how he does in a Raider uniform. I'm not going to delve any further into it, as that would ruin the point of the video, but I expect Oakland to be good once again this season. I also want to talk about Marcus Mariota and the Tennessee Titans, who I believe have a very good chance to win their weak AFC South division this year. The Titans played everyone they had tough last year, only losing 2 games by more than 1 touchdown. Give Mariota another year under his belt, I think that they'll be able to pull out some of those close games this season. Another young team on the rise this year is the Tampa Bay Bucks. I am very high on this Tampa team this year, as I think Jameis Winston is bound for a breakout year. The addition of Deshaun Jackson as a deep threat will also be a valuable weapon for Jameis to use. Mike Evans will continue to contribute in his 4th year, and a defense led by a veteran defensive lineman, Gerald McCoy, will at the very least be competent. Watch out for Tampa Bay this year. Number 2, the playoff regulars. The Patriots, the Packers, the Steelers. We know these teams, the ones that always are in the playoffs, the ones that always seem to be the Super Bowl favorites. Green Bay improved their roster by adding Martellus Bennett to an already deep pass-catching core. Rodgers will love him as a red zone target and has a big body for Hail Marys. Move on over Richard Rodgers and Jeff Janis. As for the Steelers, they obviously have one of the best offenses in the NFL with the killer bees of Ben, Brown, and Bell. I also think that their defense, while young, has some potential. I'll talk more about the player that I'm going to mention in my analysis of the Steelers, but TJ Watt seems to have some very good potential. He also has one of the best mentors in the NFL in James Harrison showing him the ropes. I don't think that I have to say much more about New England that hasn't been said. They added Brandon Cooks, Mike Gillislee, Dwayne Allen, and Stephon Gilmore to an already talented core of Brady, Gronk, Dante Hightower, Devin McCourty, Malcolm Butler, and Chris Hogan. Now, Julian Edelman recently did suffer a torn ACL, which is obviously a big blow for the Pats, but I think that Danny Amendola can be a good replacement in the slot. The playoff regulars are most certainly not going anywhere. Number 3, the Cowboys will take a step back. The Dallas Cowboys will undoubtedly take a step back this season. After a dream season that had the Cowboys going 13-3 and getting the number 1 seed in the NFC, this season has sophomore slump written all over it. The Ezekiel Elliott suspension does not help their cause whatsoever. I think that Dak Prescott will miss the presence of Zeke in the backfield. Though the Cowboys still have the best offensive line in the league, Darren McFadden and Alfred Morris are no Ezekiel Elliott. However, despite this, I still do think that the Cowboys have the potential to get a wild card spot in the NFC, as they will hopefully get a full season with Dez Bryant. But with the NFC East and NFC in general being as competitive as it is, I would most certainly not be surprised if Dallas slipped out of the playoffs entirely. Number 4, don't sleep on these teams. So in this segment, I'm going to go over these sleeper teams that I think could surprise some people. I'm going to start with the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are often on the opposite end of the spectrum, as they are often considered a team that disappoints when their expectations are high. Except, I don't think that anybody is really paying much attention to the Eagles. I think they may just flip the script and surprise all of us. Carson Wentz now actually has some help with Alshon Jeffrey, Torrey Smith, and the Garrett Blunt at running back.
Even in a competitive NFC East, don't be surprised if the Eagles are right there in the final stretch of the year. The other team is the Jay Cutler-led Miami Dolphins. Now, I think the situation could go relatively well or absolutely horrible. If Jay comes in and plays well under Adam Gase, who he had his best year under in 2015, Jay could lead the Dolphins to, at the very least, being a competitive team that is in every game that they're in. I also like Jay Ajayi at running back a lot. I think that he will continue to develop after his breakout year last season. Do not sleep on the Eagles or the Dolphins this season.
Number 5, the rise of the wideouts. The fifth and final thing that I would like to look out for is the explosion of several new wide receivers. The first one of these guys would be Michael Thomas of the Saints. Thomas already had a great rookie year last season, tallying 92 receptions for 1,137 yards and 9 touchdowns. Those are already great numbers, but with the departure of Brandon Cooks from the Saints offense, I expect Michael Thomas to put up even bigger numbers.
When I say big numbers, I mean in the 120 to 130 catch range and at least 1,500 receiving yards. Yeah, I think he's that good. Another guy I expect big for things from this season is Martavis Bryant. Martavis is coming off a season where he was suspended because, as Stephen A. Smith says, he couldn't stay off the weed. That being said, in the previous 2 seasons before that, Bryant really showed some talent as an Alshon Jeffrey type of player with his speed and size. He even reminds me a bit of a young Randy Moss. Not saying that he will become Moss, but his body type and overall style of play are similar. In his rookie year back in 2014, a season in which he only started 3 games and was not an intricate part of the Steelers' offense until the second half of the season, he ranked second in yards per reception out of every player in the NFL. So he is obviously a deep threat that has great speed. The third and final receiver that I wanted to talk about is Devontae Parker of the Miami Dolphins. After being the 14th pick in the 2015 draft, Parker's first 2 years in the league have been relatively pedestrian, leading many to call him a bust. However, I think that Parker has the potential to be a great deep threat for the Dolphins. Love or hate Jay Cutler, he is a gunslinger. He throws the ball deep, and whether it ends up good or awful for him, there's nothing that is going to stop him from doing it, especially now that Adam Gase is their head coach. In the last preseason game, Parker had 1 catch for what was a 72-yard touchdown. I think that these are the type of numbers that we could see from him, as I don't see him putting up that many catches, but yet I do see him putting up some yards. So expect him to be up there as one of the best yards per reception players. There you have it. 5 things that NFL fans should expect from the upcoming season. I, for one, am very much looking forward to the season, and I can't wait to see what happens. If you enjoyed this video, I would very much appreciate if you would like and subscribe to this channel. If you would like to be notified of when I upload a video, then please click the bottom right-hand corner to receive those. Also, feel free to share your thoughts of the video down in the comments section, and you all have a great day.